they also serve as relevant warnings in today's atmosphere. At first glance, biofuels offer independence from OPEC by relying on homegrown fuels from our own agricultural stocks, rather than to remain passively under the thumb of foreign oil. In addition, at a time when the White House has been the target of mounting pressures to show some leadership in the worldwide effort to address climate change, ethanol, advertised as producing fewer greenhouse gases than fossil fuels, certainly appears to be an easy political out. America is not alone in this pursuit of ethanol. Similar efforts, as we know, are being made around the world to switch from oil to alternative fuels made from food crops like sugarcane, sugar beets, and palm oil. Precious farmlands and foods that were previously used for human consumption are now being used for fuel production. And these efforts are a big factor in the current global mess. In short, what we've done is we have created a food versus fuel dilemma. Although this notable ethanol drawback has been playing out most dramatically in foreign lands, largely developing nations where the margin between survival and starvation is slimmest, it is also showing up very ominously in the shopping carts of our American working families. And it's coming at a most inopportune time when our economy is badly faltering, the costs of prescription drugs going through the roof, the cost of gasoline, as we know, already through the roof, and so many other everyday expenses rising that makes it difficult for the average American. In the course of the just 9 months between 2006 and 2007, domestic corn prices jumped 61%. According to The Economist magazine, the price of rice increased by a record 77% last year, and then it skyrocketed by an alarming 140% since January of this year. The price of cereals and bakery goods are on the rise, and the rise in cost to American families extends to food items all the way up and down their weekly grocery bill. In the last 2 years, the price of dairy products is up 15%. The cost of meat, poultry, eggs are up. The prices of corn, wheat, soybeans are at a 10-year high. So the way things are going, soup, beans, and cornbread, a favorite meal for many of the constituents I'm honored to represent, will soon become a luxury meal rather than a budget-conscious staple. And let me tell you, a plate of soup beans without the cornbread, I don't care how many onions you pile on top of it, it's just not the same, or ramps even. Now, this is not to suggest that there are not a few winners among the ethanol regime. There certainly are. Oddest among them, when we're talking about ethanol, the oddest winner may be pigs. Yep, you guessed it, pigs. The cost of corn has grown so high that the numbers of farmers fattening their swine with, of all things, chocolate has been growing. It's probably Godiva chocolate too. And I can tell you something's terribly wrong with a policy that leads to pigs eating better than people. Now, don't get me wrong. Please don't misunderstand me. Americans are willing to sacrifice for the good of our nation and our world, and that is one of our strongest characteristics. It is just that food-based biofuels may not be for the good of the nation as a whole and for the world. We have seen over and over that this administration is all too quick and all too happy to evade any answers about the true extent of the sacrifice that Americans face on numerous fronts. The sacrifice for ethanol is no different, and it is exacting a painful toll. In addition to taking more of our hard-earned pay for fuel and food, ethanol is not providing the environmental gains that its champions have long promised. Researchers at Princeton University, for example, recently concluded that corn-based ethanol would produce twice the greenhouse gas emissions as conventional gasoline over the next 30 years. Another study by the University of Minnesota and the Nature Conservancy concluded that further converting the rainforests, grasslands, and savannas of Southeast Asia and South America to crops for biofuels will increase greenhouse gas emissions, perhaps for centuries, while destroying important habitats. So growing biofuel crops on these lands, well known for their ability to capture carbon, means that more greenhouse gases will be emitted into the air as a direct result of increased ethanol production. Still, there may be some who feel that even this amount of sacrifice is well worth the energy independence, worldwide stability, and the chance to keep our troops here at home than our dependence on foreign oil seems to promise. But there is a flaw in that logic. As we watch violence erupt from corner to corner around the globe, we see that the growth of the ethanol industry is spreading the kind of instability that draws American money and might, military might, into these foreign lands rather than securing the peace that would bring our troops home. So clearly the solution to America's dependence on foreign oil is not going to come from swapping one addiction for another, nor will it come about by dumping those mainstay fuels that comprise the greatest part of our energy portfolio. It will come, our energy independence, as all worthwhile things do, with balance and with moderation. It will come in the form of a comprehensive energy plan that boosts efficiency, invests in a wide variety of fuel alternatives, including advancing fossil fuel technologies like coal to liquids, of which our United States Air Force, Jim, is so gung-ho on these days, because using that type of domestic fuel, coal to liquid, means less reliance upon countries that our Air Force is often called upon, unfortunately, to go bomb. So it's a matter of national security. And also this comprehensive type of energy policy that is spread evenly respects the complex interconnections of a worldwide economy while taking into account how tinkering with energy can wreak worldwide havoc if not done in a careful manner. And as we advance our energy efforts, we must be aware of those simple solutions to complex problems. So, as you saw the title of my speech, let them eat ethanol. To paraphrase Marie Antoinette during the food riots in 18th century France, simply will not do. If our government and governments around the world cannot find better solutions to rising gasoline prices than those that exacerbate the growing food crisis, then perhaps policymakers deserve no better fate than that suffered by Marie Antoinette. So the rush into ethanol has been a serious misstep. We'd better look carefully before we leap again. We'd better look at the adages of the wisdom of past years and realize that there is no simple solution to this complex problem. It needs to be addressed in, as I say, a comprehensive and even-handed manner, recognizing all of our domestic sources that have a vital role to play in our energy independence. I thank you again for inviting me to be here today, and I look forward at another moment to the question and answer period. Thank you.